everyone, welcome to class. We have got an exciting topic to cover today, but before I get started on the lecture, I actually brought you a treat. I'm going to cook you up something special today. I'm going to tell you what the ingredients are, and I want you to see if you can guess what it is that I'm cooking up in my bowl. First, we're going to have a little impulsive behavior. Ooh, some defiance. That can be kind of bitter, so not too much of that. Oh, anger. That's spicy. I'm going to put a lot of that in. Would you like it spicy? Oh, love, love, love. We all need a lot of love. We're going to put an extra dose of love in there. And then maybe my personal favorite, we've got some armpit hair. So we're just going to sprinkle some armpit hair in there. Now, any guesses what it is? I know you know. We've all been there and done that. It is adolescence. So we're going to be cooking up a little bit of adolescence today. And we're going to talk about the physical and cognitive changes that happen to boys and girls when they are in adolescence. So let's get started. In our first section, I actually want to focus on what happens during puberty. When does puberty happen? Well, for girls, it happens sooner. They tend to start between the ages of 9 to 14. Boys comes a little later, on average, age 10 to 17. Now, because of that, that's why you see, those junior high dances we all went to, and the tall girls were dancing with the little boys. And then in high school, it flip-flops, and all is right with the world, because then the boys are taller and they're just dancing with young women. It's because the girls do tend to hit puberty a little sooner, even though the boys do eventually catch up. Now, what even starts puberty? Well, the kickstarter for puberty is our pituitary gland. And our pituitary gland is located behind the bridge of your nose. And it's tiny. It is the size of a little pea, but it is one powerful little pea. It is command central for our body's hormones. It is controlling reproduction, growth, metabolism, even our blood pressure. So there's a lot happening. And when that little pea kicks in, it starts producing testosterone for our boys and estrogen for our girls. And that's when puberty arrives and their lives are forever changed. Now, during that time, sex organs are definitely developing. We don't really see that. What we tend to see, the evidence we see, are going to be those secondary sex characteristics, like for boys, the Adam's apple, the deepening voice, the body hair. For girls, maybe some body hair, their breasts start growing, their hips start rounding, and that's what we tend to see. We also see some serious growth spurts. And in fact, growth spurts for boys can go well into their college years. My own nephew, his freshman year of high school, that summer he grew 6 inches. He's 6'2", he's loving it, thinking he'll be 6'2" the rest of his life. Well, bam, he gets to college, it's his freshman year, he grows another 4 inches, which was really exciting for him, happy times. But not all changes that happen during puberty are happy times. It can have some real psychological consequences too, especially if there's early onset puberty. Now, in boys, there can be some positives. If they hit puberty earlier than their friends, they might be stronger or taller, better at sports. They might be more popular than their friends until their friends get caught up. But it's not all roses. The studies show that early onset for boys can lead to, they're more likely to have drug and alcohol abuse, maybe irresponsible sexual activity, truancy from school. Now, if we talk about early onset puberty for girls, it tends to be, especially if the girl develops large breasts, then she looks like a woman and she starts being treated like a woman. Physically, she has those traits. When emotionally, cognitively, socially, she might still be a young girl. She may have not matured in those areas, and it's coming at her. The boys are trying to date her and they're treating her like a woman. She might be given responsibilities at home like she's grown, and she's not, and that can be a really hard time. And it can often lead to things like depression, low self-image, and even eating disorders. Okay, so I've been discussing a few of the physical things that are happening during adolescence, but I also want to take some time to look and see what's happening cognitively, especially in 2 parts of the brain, the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system. Now, the prefrontal cortex is the front part of the frontal lobe, and it's responsible for reasoning and logic, planning, problem solving. And then our limbic system, it is responsible for motivation, emotion, learning, and memory. And that's all well and good, except we have one problem that we see a lot in adolescence, and it's that our prefrontal cortex is developing more slowly, and that's when we start seeing those weird decisions. Our teenagers are making some choices, and their logic is coming up. It's kind of slow, but bam, in comes emotion, bam, in comes those hormones. And that's what ends up leading a lot of their decisions. It's the hormones and emotion rather than the logic. And that's when we start seeing those teenagers racing down the interstate, girls crying over boys uncontrollably, boys they've never even met. Maybe they saw them on Instagram. And we as adults are like, what is happening? And then we go, oh, that's why it's that slow prefrontal cortex again. So that covers a little bit of what happens physically and cognitively in our adolescence. Thanks for letting me share my recipe with you for adolescence. I want you to have some readings for next week to get prepared for class. Otherwise, have a great week and be kind to any teenagers in your lives, and I'll see you next class period. Thanks.